Hello children, good morning, and today we are going to continue the same lesson, bird migration. So in last two videos I have given introduction of bird migration and about Salimali, and today the continuation of the same lesson. So birds are man's and environment's best friend. So the migration of bird is an hold as the history of mankind. Yet it's a surprise. The word migration refers to the movement of birds from one place to another, from lowlands to highlands, from the interior to the sea coast. So, birds migrate for various reasons. For instance, it is observed that during winter, birds go to warmer places because some of them cannot survive, and birds depending on the seasons. So we have seen that in last two classes how do the birds identify the seasonal changes and how it comes how birds find their way home. Okay, so we have seen that there is a belief that birds can understand the magnetic fields that surround the earth. So these magnetic fields run from the north to south pole. Perhaps the birds are directed themselves by these lines of force. Okay, so today we are going to see the continuation. So birds are migrating from one place to another for various reasons. See, one among them is the hummingbirds, which is very smallest bird, but it can travel as fast as they can. So when they migrate, the paths take them across like what to tell, the Gulf of Mexico twice a year. They fly this non-stop, which can be as far as 600 miles. That's a long journey for such a small bird. It's a small bird. And also birds in migration can travel as far as 16,000 miles to reach their destination in time. Some travel at minimal speed. Some take for up to 533 hours to reach their final destination, like traveling 8 hours a day. So it varies. Okay, it would take some birds 66 days to reach their migration destination. So this means the birds have been traveling a long time by the time they get to your backyard. Okay, so some birds migrate at high altitudes. Not all birds travel low where we can see them. See, songbirds travel at an altitude as high as 500 to 2000 feet. See, geese and vultures have been known to travel at altitude of 29,000 to 37,000 feet high. This altitude, no, this altitude is like how where the flights aeroplane travels. So these geese and vultures, what they do, they travel equal to that. Some scientists believe that birds travel at higher altitudes, okay, to conserve energy with less flapping of the wings, okay, and more gliding. Flapping of the wings means like that wings they move up and down. Gliding means just like that eagle do, no, just like that, coming and going without moving their wings. Okay, they move up and down altitudes to gain boost of natural lift from the changes in this city. And also birds know where to go. Instinctively, migrating birds know where to migrate and how to navigate back home. They use the stars, the sun, the earth's magnetism to help them find their way. They also almost always return home to where they were born. Because of this, you would be right if you think you see the same bird same year in your places. Birds prepare before they migrate. They prepare to help birds prepare themselves for a long journey away from home. For the winter, they build up body fat. They fuel up with certain foods and reserve up to 50% of their body weight. It is important to feed birds all year long, but especially when they return from migration and when they are preparing to leave for migration, they will be hungry. And birds migrate at different times. Have you ever wondered what time birds migrate? When most of us are making our morning and afternoon commutes to and from work, migrating birds are feeding at resting. Many birds migrate during the night. They do this for a variety of reasons. At night, the air is cooler, which eliminates the needs to stop as much as to cool down in water. Similarly, at night, there are fewer predators and visibility of these predators is low. So, birds are more safe traveling when their predators are resting. This is not the case of all birds, like geese and cranes migrate during the daytime. Okay, so let's see about our Arctic terns. Okay, in our lesson, they have written Arctic terns. The Arctic terns are the champions among the birds. These travel an average of 22,000 miles a year. I'm sorry, take page number 45. Take page number 45. During its flight, the tern nests at different places and takes about 20 weeks to make its trip down to the Antarctic region. Its average speed is 1,000 miles a week. So, see, this is the Arctic tern. The Arctic tern, a bird weighing about 100 grams, very small bird, makes each year the round trip between the Arctic and the Antarctic, about 20,000 kilometers, in order to never experience winter time. Okay, shall we see a video of this? So that is about Arctic terns. Okay, most land birds move short hops during their migration. The American golden plover is an exception. It makes a long non-stop flight and can fly a distance of about 2,400 miles over water without food or stopping. So this bird flies without food and stopping. Okay, shall we see about that bird? So, that is the American golden plover. Birds do not actually begin their migration the same day every year. For instance, the famous swallows of California are supposed to leave on October 23 and return on March 19, but their dates of departure and return have been found to be varying from year to year. Birds migrate for satisfying the needs as human beings do. Okay, so this is the American plover. See how small it is. We have seen the video of this bird. Okay, next, take page number 46. Impact of cell towers on birds. See, actually, this is a source from the Times of India. In our book, it is given on May 22nd, 2015. They have published this impact of cell towers on birds. See, this electromagnetic field and RF radiations, this cell tower radiation is a sensitive topic actually, and one must separate the grain from the shaft. On this balance, cell tower radiation has a direct impact in decreasing number of birds around us. However, we are prone to over exaggerating the subject. There is no denying and lack of concern, but then we cannot wish away the telecom infrastructure. That is not possible. Awareness is the first step, and we hope to have been able to give a neutral, unbiased view devoid in all sensationalism. Okay, so we'll read this first, what they have given. Ever wondered about vanishing house sparrows, declining number of peacocks and other birds in the city? A study, a possible impact of communication tower on wildlife, birds and bees, conducted by the expert committee of Union Ministry of Environment and Forest, attributes the drop in number of birds in Indore, Bhopal, Jabalpur, Ujjain and other cities to increased use of mobile phones and electromagnetic radiation emitted from communication towers. Concerned over the increasing number of mobile towers in the city, a city-based animal activist, Sudhir Ketwat, has written a letter to the Animal Welfare Board urging them to take necessary action in the matter. It is dangerous for birds and even the forest department. In its letter dated May 5, 2015 and May 12, 2015, has accepted that mobile tower radiation is affecting the health of birds and peacocks in particular, said Ketwal. Girish Kumar from Electrical Engineering Department of IIT Mumbai, who has done extensive work on harmful effects of mobile tower radiation on humans, birds and animals, has said that birds including sparrows, honeybees and peacocks are severely affected by cell tower radiation as their surface area is more. So radiation absorbed is also more compared to their body weight. He added that the effects on the peacocks is much more pronounced as their wings, feather occupy more surface area, resulting in large absorption of radiation, hence creating more health hazards and leading to various ailments and even death. Okay, this is what the Times of India have given. This has been published on May 22nd, 2015 in newspaper, and this has been added in your book. Okay, if you want to read more, please learn many things about this. Okay, impact of cell towers on birds. Okay, important points from birds migration lesson. So from the part 1, part 2 and part 3, I am just concluding that many migratory birds, but not all, fly at night. Geese have been observed migrating at elevation topping 23,000 feet in Himalayas. Migratory birds can remember and return to the exact location where they were born. Migratory birds travel at the same speed we usually do while driving. The Arctic tern can fly more than 49,700 miles each year, racking up more miles than any other birds do. Okay, hardwoods, lowlands, marvelous, phenomenon, departure, exception, vanishing, environment, satisfying, champions. So today's homework, write the hardwoods 5 times. What does migration mean? Write your own answer. Please don't copy from the book. You understand and write in your own words. Why do birds migrate? Okay. Thank you, children. Meet you in another new lesson unit 4 poem, The Skylark. Okay. Thank you.